So, hey Aries, my name is Chris, and this is your beautiful reading for whenever you freaking find it. And there's one card that wants to come out right away, and that's the Ace of Swords. I'm not doing the Celtic Cross, by the way. I'm just doing 10 cards whenever you find it. It's for you, definitively 2026, because it's just a super important seismic shift here. Everything is changing in 2026, right? Maybe you have noticed. Super intense frequencies. That's the Ace of Swords. That's a new consciousness for all of us, right? And we're more or less integrating this new consciousness. But this Ace of Cups, Ace of Swords showing up for you, that's actually a good sign. The most important thing is that you keep your balance. Temperance card, and whenever Temperance card or Two of Pentacles, things like that show up, I just have to recommend what I always recommend: meditation and breathwork. So 7 seconds in, 14 seconds out, right? Breathing in, and then 2 times the time of the in breath, right? The out breath needs to be 2 times that of the in breath. 1 in, 2 out. That's how you restore balance. That's how you release negativity. Combine that with meditation, and you got your Temperance card. And you have the inner peace to concentrate on this new consciousness, on your new idea, on your new way of being, I would say. So much more responsibility, right, for our inner frequency. This is what it's all about. And then the Chariot. So super support from the universe. And that is a good thing if you're in a beautiful, balanced, tempered mindset, right? If you're in guilt, fear, shame, if you're in anger, frustration, inner turmoil, right? Hatred, maybe even, then, the Chariot will drive you in that direction. So it's super important that but it's showing up for you. So you got the Temperance card, you got the Ace of Swords. So everything is super balanced. Everything is pretty zen, I would say. And to keep it that way, make daily meditation and daily breathwork a practice. If you've never done it, try it for 5 minutes, just sitting there in silence. A surprising amount of people are completely incapable of sitting with themselves in silence for 5 minutes. Most YouTube channels, if there's silence for 10 seconds, people completely freak out. They switch the channel. It's just not going to work for most of people. So we have to make a choice for balance. That's a choice, right? It's a daily practice. It's a daily choice. You got the Two of Cups. That's the big arcana Temperance card. And as I said, there's the Two of Pentacles as well. And that's the small arcana, the minor arcana, Pentacles energy. So down to earth, you have to make it a physical experience every single day. And that is a choice. That speaks about self-discipline. Also the Ace of Swords kind of make it a daily practice to take care of your inner frequency, to take care of your inner peace, right? The Hanged Man and the Six of Swords. So maybe, in 2026, right? In 2025, since 2008, actually, it's been going on in phases, more or for better or for worse phases throughout a long time, actually. Okay, 2 cards just come out. The Hierophant, of course, shows up all the time. Meanwhile, I don't know why, but almost in every reading I do, the Hierophant shows up lately. And then there's the Eight of Pentacles, working on being an example, not telling people what to do, but showing them how it's done, right? And that's a daily practice. That's a daily work. Make the decision to balance yourself out every single day and there's the Hangman and there's the Six of Swords. So collectively, I would say this is not Aries specific, but it's, you know, it's specific for Aries as well, because you're in this like everybody else. I would say we are very much tested. It's kind of a stress test for humanity, I would say. How do you deal with potentiality? That's the abstract concept. How do you deal with a situation where you really can't do much, where the circumstances are just, you can't change the world, you can't change politics, you can't, you know, there's so much going on in this world. You could comment, you could watch the news 24/7, right? You could comment on all sorts of news outlet programs, channels, whatsoever. You could go outside and argue with people, right? And if you watch the news or if you look into the world, you could despair, right? So there's a lot right now happening in the world that is pretty grim and dark, and there's not much we can do about it, right? So focus on that, what you can do something about, right? And that's the enlightenment here of the Hanged Man. Maybe the external circumstances are in a way that you can't do much. Maybe you're not agreeing with this or that politics. Maybe you're not agreeing or happy about the state of the world, the state of humanity. But as I said, see it more as a stress test, and you can't change the world, right? But you can certainly change yourself. And to break it down, Pentacles energy, right? That's the big consciousness that you already got here. So you're super prepared for what's coming, and what's coming is we're moving on from this situation. This is not going to last forever. That too shall pass. And while it is passing or preparing to pass, you do a daily practice that's super important, meditation, breathwork, to stabilize your life, to stabilize your consciousness. You already got this. If you're resonating with this channel, if you understand what this channel is about, if you actually maybe even do already meditation and breathwork, or some form of practice for yourself that works for you, could be something else, right? I don't want to, but meditation, breathwork, that's what I know and that's what I can recommend. I think you're doing this already. And this Six of Swords energy, where you slowly moving on from a situation that is kind of a little disappointing, but you realize, okay, I can't change outer circumstances. All that I can change is myself, and taking responsibility of my inner frequency, make that a daily habit. And then there's the Chariot. So Six of Wands is this energy where you're kind of a little depressed, and you're moving on from that. You're just accepting the world as messy as it is. Keep your daily practice, keep your consciousness up, right? Keep your frequency up. Temperance, Two of Pentacles. It's a daily choice not to take the bait of the narcissists out there, not to take the bait, to argue, to go into guilt, fear, shame, anger, frustration, hatred, projection outwards, fighting windmills, things like that. The narcissists, the antagonistic people, want you to do that, and you have to make a daily choice not to tap into that trap, because that trap of hatred, of frustration, of guilt, fear, shame is leading you to darkness and despair and ultimately hatred. That's the dark side. You make daily choice to uphold your frequency. And I see you doing that. I'm just telling you, you're doing it. Great. And it's a daily practice, right? And we're moving on from this slow and steady, but then there's the Chariot kicking on. Oh, it got 9 cards only. Okay. Chariot is coming along, and then this process will speed up, right? In 2026, as we are progressing throughout the year, I mean, a lot has happened already. I said it's not time specific for 2026, but it's definitely a 2026 reading, right? So we're moving on from that and things will speed up. So make sure that you got your focus in the right direction, not hatred, not externalization, not projecting, not scapegoating, not saying, oh, it's these people and that people. Oh, that's all bullshit. It's you, and it's your consciousness, and it's your frequency, and it's what you do on a daily basis. Are you want to be like them, like narcissists, like antagonistic, toxic people? Or do you want to uphold, and I see you upholding your frequency, your standards, your integrity, all that, right? Maybe we're moving on from that, and there's the Eight of Pentacles, the Chariot, and the Hierophant, right? The Hierophant is the spiritual teacher, as I said, shows up all the freaking time. Let's just see what this is about. There's the Sun. How beautiful is that? Bottom of the deck. Bottom of the deck is the Ten of Wands. So this phase where we're being tested, remember that it's not going to last forever. That too shall pass, right? This time of transition that we're in right now, 2026, super mega time of transition for everybody, right? Keep your course, keep your focus in the direction. The Chariot takes you wherever you focus your attention to. Guilt, fear, shame, hatred, anger, frustration. Oh, it's the other people, we have to destroy them, blah, blah, blah. What all the fascists want to tell you. Externalization, projection games, right? Negativity, negation, hatred, things like that. If that's what you're focusing on, the Chariot will take you there. But if you focus on yourself, your inner frequency, that's not egoism, right? That's not one-sided egoism. That's the principle of Philautia. That's the channel's name for a reason. Why? Because it's Aristotle's idea of having a balance between egoism and altruism, right? Both sides in a healthy, balanced, tempered way. And this is what this reading is all about. I talked about the Two of Pentacles when I talked about the Temperance card, and bam, there's the Two of Pentacles, right? But it is a daily choice, right? All these people, all these energies are screaming at us. All these cups, right? Usually emotional, cups energy is emotional energy. They're trying to get us through our emotions, right? So be angry about that, hate this one, have you seen that, shouldn't you be outraged about that, right? Don't you want to write an angry comment here and there, and horrible. Don't do that, right? So you can't change the world, but you can change yourself. And now is a time where it's very, very important to keep focused and working on what makes sense to you, because the Chariot will bring you there. Whatever you focus your attention on, this is where you're going. So make sure you're working on something that makes sense for yourself. Even if you have a bullshit job, and I had tons of bullshit jobs in my life, right? Even then you can carve out time and space for what is important to you. And if it's just meditation and breathwork on a daily basis to stabilize your frequency, your consciousness, that is enough. You are enough. You don't need to be grandiose about stuff. You don't need to do this or that. You don't need to impress anybody. And if you're doing it, you're making it easier for others to do the same. Because if you uphold your frequency, right? If you're working on what makes sense to you, then you make it easier for all the decent people out there, because you're adding to the frequency they are in, right? There's this Rupert Sheldrake concept of the morphogenetic field, right? I think it makes a lot of sense, right? So if you make your homework, if you do your homework, if you take care of your own inner frequency, and all the decent people in this world are doing the same, taking care of their own frequency, doing what they can, doing what makes sense to them, going for integrity and authenticity instead of anger and frustration and projection and scapegoating, right? It's not the people who are not like you. The problem is not out there. The problem is your inner frequency. Take responsibility for that. Don't blame. Don't say, oh, it's their fault. Guilt, the concept of guilt is always pointing towards the past and away from you, usually into the past. But you know what? You can't change the past. You can only change the here and now and your current consciousness in the moment. And when you meditate, when you do breath work, then you're confronted with that, right? What is going on internally? That is what you can change. Not world politics, not this and that, but your own inner frequency. And then it's no longer about guilt. Guilt is always pointing away from you, scapegoating, oh, it's these people, that people, and usually something that happened in the past. So if you come back to yourself, if you come back to the moment, it's all about what you can do, what you are actually doing on a daily basis. And that is a completely different concept. And that concept is responsibility. Christians are big deal about guilt and forgiveness. Buddhists are big deal about responsibility and karma. The universe takes care of stuff. You don't need to fight the windmills. You need to take responsibility for your own frequency. And if you do that, you're shining as a light in this world. You don't need to teach anybody. You just need to show up as a decent human being in a very strange time. And that alone makes all the difference. Don't fight the freaking lion, because there are so many freaking lions out there. You can't fight them all. Fight your inner, don't even fight your inner demons, right? You just pay attention to what is going internally. Is there something that needs attention within yourself? Take responsibility for it. It's not the people who are evil that dare to be different from you. If that irritates you, then there is something within you that needs attention. Take responsibility for that, right? And if you do so, you're making it easier for others to do the same. Two of Pentacles, super emphasized here, 2 times the Two of Pentacles. It's a daily choice. It's a daily practice. There's even the King of Pentacles. Where do I put the King of Pentacles? Usually to the 8 of Pentacles, I would say. So your work is going to pay off, right? This is not going to last forever. This madness that we're living in, this time where the narcissists and the lowest impulses of humanity are running the show, this is not going to last forever, right? So do not engage in that. Do not add to that, right? If all the other people behave like primitive monkeys, let them. You do not behave like them. You do not take the bait. You do not scream with the monkeys. You don't hate with the fascists, And that's reason to celebrate. That's the Three of Cups. You're upholding your principle, right? 6 of Cups is the reminder for joyful creation. I'm going to put this to the sun here. Find something to do. Hopefully you can do it on a daily basis. If you can, cut down your hours at work, because, we're living in a time where working harder doesn't work anymore. Probably never has worked, but this time in an age that we're living in right now, you can see that you can pay your bills, right? But it's not like decent, honest work gets paid or anything, right? It's getting exploited, right? And that's heartbreaking. If you look into the world, right? There we are with the Three of Swords and the Hanged Man. We can't change that. We can change that in a time frame, but not overnight, right? And we certainly can't fight it. All we can do is to uphold our own light and not behave like these people who have obviously chosen darkness. That's sad, right? Be human, be enough, be grateful, be blessed. That's a beautiful quote. I love that. Be human, be enough, be grateful, be blessed, right? And do what you love to do. That is your light, that is your joy, right? I haven't had this one in a while, but I love it so much. Don't blame a clown for acting like a clown. Ask yourself why you keep going to the circus. That's the spirit. You know, the hanged man is bitching about the clowns in the circus, but keeps going to the circus. So don't blame the clown for acting like a clown. Ask yourself why you keep going to the circus. Don't go to the circus. Meditate, do breath work, uphold your light, do what makes sense for you. Work on what makes sense for you. Even if you have a bullshit job, I said that before, I had tons of bullshit jobs. Carve out space and time to change that and to have ideally daily joyful creation. Let your light shine and don't despair in this kind of weird time right now. Those who can make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities. Voltaire. Those who can make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities. Yeah, that speaks for itself, I would say. I think enough said. I'm going to do one Blue Angel Oracle card. Multidimensional healing, that's number 5. I love that and I need that and we all need that, right? The world needs that. And there is, I can't pronounce his name. God, what's his name? There is a, I think he was a physicist or a chemist. He got the Nobel Prize and he basically argued that you need a phase of chaos to create a new sort of order. And something better, right? If you want to improve a system, you need to go through a phase of dissolvement or chaos, basically, right? To reconnect new pathways and new structures. I think that's pretty much what's happening right now. So make sure that you're not... But I'm going to read this to you. Probably there's a lot of information here. Multidimensional healing, love and prayer. Are you willing to let go of the fear? There we go. Are you willing to let go of the fear and worry that serve no useful purpose in your life? Are you willing to let go of the fear and worry that serve no useful purpose in your life? And I know that everything screams worry, be afraid, right? It's a practice, right? It's a daily practice not to, and we're not immune to this, right? But not to sit on that horse and run around, right? Are you willing to let go of the fear and worry that serve no useful purpose in your life? If so, healing is available to you right now. Through the grace of love, the past, present, and future can be healed. Invite healing into your life through prayer. And you can pray. If you're Christian, you can sit down and pray. That's a practice in Christianity. That's a practice in Islam. I think in many religions it's that. For Buddhists, it's more about breathwork or meditation, especially to get in touch with higher community, higher consciousness, right? That in itself is a practice. Whatever your practice is, if it's working for you, fantastic, right? Then do that. You don't need to do meditation or breathwork. That's just what I recommend because I do it. But if you do your practice that brings you closer to the divine, right? And if your God wants you to hate people, I'm not sure you bring to the right God, right? So my God is a pantheistic God, and my God doesn't tell me to hate and destroy people. That's not what my God is telling me. But maybe, if so, healing is available to you right now. Through the grace of love, the past, present, and future can be healed. Invite healing into your life through prayer, however you do it. Talk to the angels and ask for their help. There's a sacred flame within you that can be activated by your command. Activate it now. The angels will help you if you believe and trust. And this very moment you are being filled with healing light. Accept and do not doubt it. If tears flow, let them, for this too is part of your healing. That which is most precious is inside you. And this last sentence, that which is most precious is inside you. It's not out there. You're not going to solve the world, solve yourself, attain happiness, in the outside world. You are solving, it's not working like that, right? People have tried to do that like forever. And we're still in a mess, right? This planet, this humanity has been going on for quite a while, right? And we're still in a freaking mess. Why? Because people are trying to solve their life and the world and order and this and that in the outside world. And that's just not how it works. Not guilt, not outside, not the past, not whose fault is it. Who is responsible? Who's responsible? And you know what? Who is always responsible for your life? You. No matter whose fault it was. You are always responsible for your life. And if somebody lives a different life from you, who is not like you, well, as long as she is not taking anything away from you, as long as nobody is threatening your freedom to live the way you want to live, well, just fucking care about your life and yourself. And this is, I think you understand that. With the Ace of Swords and Temperance, maybe I'm already bitching about the state of the world and the state of consciousness of humanity already. But every now and then it gets me too. But try to focus on healing, on joyful, loving creation. And don't, you're not responsible for this mess. Time to let go, right? Groundhog Spirit, time to let go of the past, time to let go of patterns and behavioral structures that lead you away from your inner core, because your power is not out there when this and that happens, right? When we defeat these people and that people. No, your power is activated when you come back to yourself and take responsibility for your inner frequency. And to do that, you have to let go of all that shit in the outside world. And trust that it will just dissolve as long as you focus on your inner light. Because if you focus on your inner light, you're going to resonate morphogenetic field, right? Sheldrake. You're resonating with other people who do the same. And there's your community, even if it's just in spirit, right? Even if you're surrounded by awful people, keep your frequency up. You're going to attract good stuff. But if you think you're going to solve your life by hatred, by scapegoating people, by destruction, if your God wants you to kill people, if your God wants, it's not my God. Enough said about that. I don't see you doing that, but I just want to make sure that you're not, that's the trap, right? That's the trap. And I'm not immune to that, and you're not immune to it either. So just focus on what makes sense to you. Keep your frequency up, and your inner light, let it shine. That's all I got. Share, like, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you think about it. There's a yearly reading for 2026, which is quite intense and quite good, actually. They were all pretty nice. Summer reading is here as well. And check out your sun, moon, and rising if you want the full picture. Hopefully see you again. Now, goodbye, my friend. Ciao.